Welcome to your yin practice. You're going to need a blanket or a towel and a strap for your class today. We're going to start with the blanket. So what I want is a bit of the blanket out, and then one end just make a small roll. So it's going to look kind of like this. So there's a little bit of a roll and some blanket sticking out behind it, and pop that down the back of your mat. Right. And the size of the roll, not too big, but you might need to play around with that. So you might have to kind of come in and out of this posture a few times to make it feel good, but definitely nothing too big. Now, as you come and lie down, I want the roll to go just, let me get it right, kind of low shoulder blades, back of rib cage, low shoulder blades. Ladies will be about where bra strap goes, give or take. Legs long, arms down by the side, and then relax the back of the head down onto the ground. So there's this little lift of the chest. It's nothing too strong. You should be able to relax the head really nicely. You should be able to close down the eyes and release the jaw. And just arrive and settle in. What is happening here is the props, just with the elevating the back of the ribs, is allowing the front of the shoulders just to kind of cascade back down into the mat. So there should be this sense of relief across the front of the shoulders, gently into the pec muscles. And don't expect to feel anything huge here. You might really not even feel anything at all. But know that there is something happening in the body on potentially a very subtle level. The shape is an antidote to arms out in front, doing everything in front of us, computers, reading, tech, all that stuff. It just encourages a bit more of a back carriage of shoulder, a better posture. So just as you lie here, begin to explore your breath and how that is feeling in your body today. Take the breath right deep down into the belly. Let it flood across the chest. Just take 3 more. The last one. Begin to bend the knees. Shift your hips over to one side as you roll out to the other. As you roll onto your side, just press your way up into a seated cross leg, either keeping the eyes closed or closing them when you arrive. Just cup the hands in the lap and sit tall. Take a big breath in. Part your lips. You can let that one go. Blink open your eyes. And go on and grab your strap. And we're going to be rolling through the shoulders. So the strap needs to be long enough that you can find a smooth rotation, and short enough that it's not too easy. So it's optimal length. Have a little play around. When you have that perfect length for you, just pause with your hands down on your knees, but holding the strap where that length is. As you breathe in, pick up the strap, pick up the tension, lift the arms to the ceiling. As you breathe out, roll the shoulders back, let the strap go down behind, but keep the tension in the strap. As you inhale, up to the ceiling. As you exhale, down in front. Don't make it too hard. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take it back. Just do 3 more. Inhale to lift. Exhale, in front. Inhale, lift, and take it back. Last one, lift, down in front. This time we're going to hold for a moment. So inhale to lift. Exhale behind you, more or less shoulder height. Close your eyes, 5 breaths, please. Long, deep in, steady breath out. Couple more. Last breath, please. Inhale, take it up. As you exhale, drop your left hand down, let your right go up. And turn the head to the right. Take a couple of breaths. Pull the strap apart from each other if you want more sensation. And one more breath. Both arms up, breath in. And right goes down, left goes up, breath out. Maybe turn the head left. You can pull the strap. You can just play around with where this feels good. You should feel that left side body. Couple more breaths. And the last one. Good. Inhale, both go up. Keep the tension in your strap. Exhale, down in front. Again, 3 rounds. Inhale, lift. Exhale, behind. Inhale to lift. And in front. And lift. And back. Last one, and lift. And in front. Let go of the strap. Rest your hands on your knees. Close your eyes. And just notice all the sensation that runs through the shoulders, down the arms, into the fingers. There might be a fair amount left over in there still. You can keep your eyes closed. There's really nothing to see. Keep your right hand resting on the right knee. Wrap your left arm behind you and gently hold the inner right elbow. Drop your chin to your chest. And then begin to drop your right ear towards the right shoulder. So here we're exploring space on the left side of your neck. If you slightly tuck your chin towards your right collarbone, you'll notice the sensation comes more down the front side. If you lift the chin a little up, you'll notice more sensation almost all the way from jawline to collarbone. So you can move around between these two spaces, or you can just shift in any other way, maybe turning the head more towards the right as you do it. Just kind of explore what's happening in there, get really curious. Be kind of tourist in the right side of your neck. Explore every nook and cranny. And then find a spot that feels great and be still. Take up residence there for a couple of breaths. So this next stretch, this next stretch should just feel really nice. There's no right or wrong. Again, really nice, like everything we're doing in this practice, to counteract these daily activities that we all engage in that are very much in the front of our bodies, with our arms out in front of us. Can create this poor carriage of shoulders, which can kind of feed into all the other parts of the body as well. Neck, obviously, being one of them. Jaw as well. Take about 5 more breaths on this side. Keep the eyes closed. Roll the chin to the chest. You can release the hands to the knees. And take a breath in, sit tall, let the shoulders drop away. Exhale completely. You might be able to notice a difference left to right. I often find when I do this, So we were just doing this on that left side of your neck, and I often find that the shoulder feels like it's way lower down. The neck feels longer that side. And when you're ready, just take your right arm, wrap it round behind you, and hold on to the inner left elbow with your left hand staying onto your knee or your thigh. Chin to chest, and then go on and take the ear to the shoulder and have a little peek around into the right side of your neck and see what's going on in there. Just move and explore. And when something feels nice, settle. Sit with that for a few breaths before moving on. And the great thing about this is you can just do it anywhere. You don't need any props. There's no kind of forgetting how to do it because it's super simple. And it's really worth the time. A little longer. And take a big breath in. Roll chin to chest. Releasing the hands to the knees. Keeping your eyes closed. Inhale as you sit tall. Part the lips, let that go. Good. Open up the eyes. You can set your strap aside, you're done with that, at least for the time being. And roll your blanket, not quite too much more, a little bit more. We're going to come into Malasana squat, but I'm going to get you to take the blanket underneath the back of the heels today. So I'm going to come side on so you can see me. So the heels are on your blanket, so they're somewhat elevated. Even if you don't need to, please give it a go. And the balls of the feet are on the ground. Elbows to the inner knees, interlace the fingers and then press the wrist creases down and drop the forehead down onto the knuckles. If this is really uncomfortable for you for any reason and it's more comfortable having the feet flat on the mat, you can go ahead and do that. And if you need more support, you can always slip a cushion or something underneath the sit bones just to support the bum.
Just take a few breaths. We're deep in the hips right now. This is one of those positions that some people are ever so comfortable in, and others just look at it and with horror and dread. Do the best that you can. And notice the breath across the back body. Maybe you can slow the breath in and the breath out and down. Let's take 3 more. Can begin to drop the hands down to the ground. We're coming into, in Yin we call it dangling. You might know it more as a standing forward fold or uttanasana. You can straighten the legs. You might like to keep the heels on the blanket, or that might just be altogether too strong. You can grab opposite hand into opposite elbow, let your head hang. If you feel a big tug in the back of the knees, just gently bend the knees, and you'll feel it more towards the back of the thighs and across the low back. If it feels better to have the arms dangling down, go ahead and do so. It's really important you let the head be heavy, let the back of the neck be long. It's the weight of the head can help kind of stretch that out and lengthen the spine. You're never long in these shapes where you're upside down. Go ahead and take about 3 more breaths here. And then begin to bend your knees. Hands can come down to the ground and pick your head up. You might get a little bit dizzy on your way down. As you come all the way down, drop your knees to the mat. You can untuck your toes and sit back into a kneel. Just rest the back of hands down on your lap, palms will face up, and close the eyes. And notice the sensations that run through the body as it all kind of comes back together and everything kind of shifts back upright. There's a constant readjustment as this community of tissues work together under the skin to optimally support you. Take 1 more breath here.
Begin to blink the eyes open, reorientate to space. And then shift to the side, taking the soles of your feet together and your knees wide. Take your arms and either hold your ankles or slip your hands underneath your low leg. We're going to be folding forward. You can begin to curl forward and tuck the chin to the chest. The head can be heavy. It's not uncommon to feel a slight tugging around the low back, the back of the hips here. It's totally fine. If it becomes a bit too much, just lift up and out a little bit. Don't be so deep in the shapes. But here we're just allowing the weight of the head and gravity to draw us in. It's a really nice shape, again, to be able to do with no props, or you don't need anything. It's really simple and yet effective. Create space into the back body. Of course, through the groin and the inner thighs, and back of the hips as well. And I find these simple shapes in a yin practice are the ones that you can just lose yourself in. And you're less likely to wonder how long, how much longer. They're not strong, uncomfortable. Take another 3 or 4 breaths here. Hug the belly to the spine. Flip the hands down to the ground and just walk yourself out of this. And wrap your hands around your ankles and sit tall. And really drop the shoulders from the ears and press the sit bones into the ground so you can reach the crown to the ceiling. Slip your blanket roll, if it's still behind you, off to the side. We will be coming back to it a little later. And make sure you have your strap handy just next to you. Come on down onto the back of your body. Bring the knees into the chest for a moment, just hug in. And then let your legs go long down the mat. Take your arms up and overhead. And take hold of your right forearm or wrist with your left hand. Keep your hips center. We're coming into banana asana, so we're making a banana shape with the body. With the hips staying center, shuffle your head and shoulders over towards the left. And keep that right arm drawing.
When you're happy with your torso, again, hips stay center, and you can begin to shuffle the legs over towards the left, or the feet, I should say, to the left. I like to hook one ankle over the other just to help me stay in space. So what we're looking for here is a lengthening on the right side of the body, slight shortening on the left side of the body. And then you can really focus your breath into that right side, creating space all the way, really outer edge of the thigh, outer edge of the hip, the waistline, the ribs, the armpit, the arm. If there's any pinching, just back off a touch. Pretty clear indication that you've gone a bit far. You might be able to shift a bit deeper. The last little bit of time here. Find 2 more breaths, big breath in. Slow breath out. Again, deep in. And out. And let the feet just return to center. And followed by the torso. You can either take your arms by your side or keep them up overhead for a moment. Just 2 breaths in neutral. And then we're going to go in for the other side. So right hand, left forearm, bring it overhead to the right, keep your hips center and shuffle the torso over to the right. When you're happy with the torso, you can go in for the legs and get those heels across. Once more, maybe you hook or maybe you don't. Begin to just notice the left side of your body from the ankle all the way up to the wrist. This long line. Maybe you come deeper for the last tiny part of the hold. Two more breaths here. Last one here. You can release your legs back first, followed by the torso. And again, arms can go by the side or they can stay overhead. So you just settle into neutral. Good. Take a bend into your knees and release the arms down. Grab your strap. Some of you will want it and some of you won't, but I'll show you. And we're going to come into a twist, but with a little kind of cat-tail pull here. So to draw the knees to the chest and then let your knees go over to the right. And you can always rest your right thigh on top of your blanket roll if the ground is too far away from you. And then with the bend in the knees, you can either stay here just in a more traditional twist. So if this is for you, this is a really nice place to be. But if we're looking for something a little more and a little different, just grab your strap and hook your strap over the top of your right foot, so that's your lower foot, and take a bend in your right leg, so the strap is coming up behind you. The strap is over your right foot, but you're holding it with your left hand here behind. And then your left leg stays in that twist shape. Your right hand can rest to the outside of that left thigh. Gaze probably just to the ceiling, maybe to the right if that's too strong, and maybe to the left, but I prefer just to the ceiling. If you want to do this, but it's a bit too deep of a twist, you can also lie more towards that right side and take your right elbow to the ground and just cup your head in the hand, so you're still twisting and you've still got that right foot up behind you, but it's not quite so deep and strong, so you could try this variation as well. I prefer the deeper twist with the hand onto the thigh, but you choose. I'm here for a little while, a couple of minutes. I really encourage people in Yin to just kind of explore each posture and just take a few moments to really kind of get a handle on how your body feels in it. Nice thing about a home practice is that you can pause and shift and shuffle and grab different things and pillows and kind of add to it. One of the people that I've trained with, she has this thing when you say, you know, am I doing it right? Is this pose right? And there's some of the complicated ones like this that she puts you in. And the response is always the same. It's never yes or no. It's always, well, I don't know. How does it feel? And that used to drive me absolutely bonkers, because sometimes these shapes, I'm not quite sure how they feel. There's a lot happening, and that's part of the practice. How does it feel? Is it right? Well, it's right if it feels good, if it feels useful, beneficial. And I guess it's wrong if it's painful, particularly in joints, if you can't breathe, if you can't settle. And we have a responsibility to ourselves to modify and shift and find something better. Just take another 3 breaths here. And if you have that strapped foot, just begin to drop it away. If you're on the side of your body in that variation, you can let go of the foot, and together we'll roll onto the back body. And just rest on your back body, soles of feet down to the ground for a moment, hands on your belly. Good. And then coming into the other side. So knees will come to your chest, they're going over to the left, and of course this time the strap will go over the top of the lower leg, which is the left one, and the leg will kick up behind you. Hold the strap right hand, left hand to that right thigh, finding your way in. And again, the modification all the way over onto that left side body, right knee, you can see here a bit better, comes down, but I've still got my right hand behind me holding onto that left foot in the strap. And choose. There's all these little yoga metaphors that are really kind of pertinent on the mat, but actually can slip off the mat and still be utterly relevant in life. I think it's one of the reasons that a yoga practice can help us step into life maybe with a greater sense of focus and ability to make changes. So this idea of, is it right or is it wrong? I don't know. How does it feel? Can be used to make decisions off our mat. And I guess sometimes the right thing doesn't feel so good. And for me, when I start kind of thinking about all that kind of stuff, I can go down the rabbit hole a little bit, off to my wonderland. I have to rein it back, but it's nice to just think creatively. Let's take a little longer here. take a big breath in now. Part the lips, let it go. Begin to let the straps slide from the hat. And roll onto the back of your body. Soles of feet to mat, knees bent, hands to belly. Let's draw the knees into the chest. And rock your way up into a seat. Grab your blanket roll. So this is so worth it, takes a bit of time. Have your blanket a bit bigger and then make a long roll. And if you don't have it as big as mine, it's absolutely fine. And then it's going to go long ways down the mat behind you. Hug it into your sacrum, your low back. And as you lie down on it, I want it to go down the length of your spine, including the back of your head, so your head is on the blanket. You might need to shift to be comfortable around the low back. And then just let the arms drop out to the side, palms up, back of hands down. And just grow heavy. Let the length of the blanket support a little lift into the spine. And again, it's just allowing the chest to open, encouraging this space in the front of your body into which you can breathe. We're actually going to stay here for Shavasana. This is where we're going to finish the practice. So this is where I'm going to leave you. Stay for a couple of minutes. Have a play with your breath in any way that feels good for your body. If you're unsure what to do, just long, deep, even breaths, maybe even a count of 4 or 5. Take at least 10 of them. But enjoy this final shape. Enjoy how the body responds to it, how the nervous system responds. I hope you've enjoyed your yin practice with me. And thank you for sharing your time. Namaste.